The world of modern celebrity culture is often driven by rapid, calculated transformations that keep audiences guessing. Yet there remains a small circle of individuals whose public identities feel comforting in their consistency. For over a decade and a half, a certain British-American actor has occupied a unique space in this constellation. Recognized not only for his profound dramatic range and infectious emotional vulnerability on screen, but also for a remarkably steady physical presence. When an artist delivers unforgettable, career-defining performances across independent cinema and massive blockbuster franchises alike, the public develops a deep-seated familiarity with their image. Every gesture, every look, and every stylistic choice becomes etched into the collective memory of a global audience. For this reason, even the slightest deviation from the established norm can spark an instantaneous cross-continental conversation, reminding us how closely we observe those who capture our imagination. Before we delve deeper into this unfolding visual chapter and examine the fascinating wave of public reaction that has taken over the digital sphere, take a brief moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the cultural moments that define our times. Looking back across the span of his illustrious career, this remarkably talented individual has rarely been one to embrace drastic or volatile aesthetic alterations. When he first truly commanded the attention of global audiences and established himself as a major cinematic force back in the year 2010, he did so with an appearance that was clean, sharp, and classic. In that critically acclaimed corporate drama tracking the tumultuous rise of modern social media, his look perfectly complemented his intense intellectual performance, featuring a neat, shorter haircut that emphasized his expressive features and youthful intensity. This refined, understated silhouette became something of a baseline for how the public perceived him as he transitioned from a rising star into a household name. As the 2010s progressed and he ascended to the pinnacle of Hollywood stardom by taking on the mantle of one of the world's most iconic comic book superheroes, he largely maintained this signature length. Throughout his tenure swinging through urban canyons and balancing the weight of great responsibility on screen, his hair remained consistently styled, projecting an energetic, youthful spirit that resonated deeply with millions of fans worldwide. Even during those early blockbuster years, discerning observers and style enthusiasts frequently noted that his hair possessed an extraordinary natural thickness and an exceptional amount of natural body. It was a stylistic calling card that required little maintenance to look effortlessly dynamic, serving as a reliable anchor for his public persona across countless red carpets, press tours, and high-profile industry events around the world. Year after year, project after project, he remained a symbol of dependable, classic elegance, steering clear of transient grooming trends in favor of a timeless look that allowed his diverse acting roles to take center stage. This prolonged period of visual stability only heightened the impact when subtle shifts finally began to emerge on the horizon, proving that even the most consistent style icons can surprise us. The journey toward a major visual transformation is rarely an overnight event, but rather a gradual evolution that unfolds quietly behind the scenes before bursting into the public consciousness. In this specific case, the early signs of a changing aesthetic were planted months ago, long before the wider public fully realized what was happening. Observers with a keen eye for detail began to notice the initial signs of change during the early spring of 26, when the actor made a high-profile appearance at an industry gathering celebrating his involvement in a highly anticipated cinematic adaptation of a beloved classic fantasy novel. At this event, while the primary focus of the media remained firmly on his upcoming professional endeavors, a close inspection of the photographs revealed that his hair growth was undeniably starting to take off in a fresh direction. The familiar, structured look of the past decade was beginning to give way to a noticeably fuller, more relaxed silhouette, hinting at a conscious decision to step away from his long-standing grooming routine. Over the subsequent months, this quiet transition continued to progress away from the spotlight, allowed to develop naturally and gather momentum with each passing week. It became increasingly clear that this was not merely a temporary lapse in maintenance, but a deliberate stylistic journey that would soon culminate in an entirely new public aesthetic. As the early weeks of summer arrived, the transformation became even more pronounced when his facial hair began to catch up with the significant growth on his head, creating a beautifully balanced and ruggedly mature appearance. This harmonious combination of a fuller beard and lengthening locks signaled a profound departure from the boyish charm of his 20s and 30s, replacing it with an undeniable aura of sophisticated maturity. By the time the midsummer season was in full swing, the stage was perfectly set for a grand public unveiling that would capture the attention of style enthusiasts and casual fans alike across the globe. The definitive moment of revelation occurred during a prestigious midsummer sporting event, a traditional and world-famous tennis tournament that routinely attracts a constellation of global dignitaries, fashion icons, and elite athletes. Stepping out into the bright summer sun before an audience of thousands, the actor officially debuted a significantly longer, dramatically fuller hairstyle that instantly became the center of media attention. The look was defined by an extraordinary volume and lush, cascading waves that seemed perfectly designed to catch the breeze, effortlessly shifting with his movements before falling back into an immaculate, picture-perfect position. It was an appearance so remarkably vibrant, healthy, and dynamic that it immediately evoked the idealized imagery of a classic high-end hair care commercial, leaving an indelible impression on everyone who witnessed it. This striking appearance marked the definitive arrival of a brand-new style era for the actor, one that effortlessly blended vintage charisma with contemporary sophistication. Within minutes of his arrival, images of this transformed look began to flood social media networks, igniting an immediate and overwhelmingly enthusiastic response from a global audience that was caught completely by surprise. The internet quickly transformed into a vibrant forum of collective astonishment and celebration, with people everywhere sharing countless lighthearted reactions, witty commentary, and detailed aesthetic comparisons. This collective fascination rapidly went viral, crossing demographic boundaries and uniting different generations of fans in their shared admiration for the bold new look. Many commentators immediately began drawing parallels to the golden age of 20th century music and entertainment, highlighting how the actor's newfound aesthetic carried a powerful and nostalgic energy. The effortless confidence with which he carried this dramatic transformation seemed to resonate deeply with the cultural zeitgeist, turning a simple grooming choice into a massive online phenomenon. As the digital conversation continued to intensify, users began to craft hilariously specific scenarios and creative alternative histories inspired entirely by the sheer visual power of his voluminous waves and mature presence. The widespread enthusiasm perfectly illustrated how a well-executed style evolution can capture the public's imagination, transforming a single public appearance into a defining pop culture moment that sets the tone for an entire season. The sheer scale of the global reaction to this unexpected stylistic evolution quickly turned the digital landscape into a bustling theater of humor, nostalgia, and intense admiration. As images from the historic tennis tournament spread across every major social media platform, the internet did what it does best, synthesizing the visual evidence into an absolute goldmine of pop culture commentary. The prevailing sentiment among the millions of onlookers who chimed in was a sense of delightful shock, as people struggled to reconcile the traditionally neat, boyish silhouette of their favorite web-slinging hero with this newly emerged avatar of vintage masculine charm. One of the most prominent and hilarious themes to dominate the viral discourse was the immediate, undeniable comparison to the golden era of 1970s popular music. The actor's incredibly thick, flowing mane and perfectly paired beard immediately evoked the legendary chart-topping icons of that iconic decade, prompting a massive wave of retro-themed jokes and clever musical references. A particularly clever observer online perfectly captured the rhythmic energy of the look by writing that you could easily tell by the way he uses his walk that he is simply staying alive. An explicit and joyous nod to the timeless disco anthems that defined an entire generation. This sentiment resonated so deeply with the collective consciousness of the internet that it sparked a widespread, passionate demand for a brand new cinematic endeavor altogether. Countless fans began pleading on public forums, begging film studios and producers to let his very next creative project be a definitive biographical feature film about the legendary Bee Gees musical group. The visual alignment was so uncanny that thousands of users began to view this spontaneous hairstyle not just as a casual personal choice, but as an unofficial, highly convincing audition for a spectacular period piece celebrating the masters of 70s pop and harmony. The collective imagination of the public ran completely wild, envisioning the British-American actor taking center stage under the glittering lights of a retro stage. His voluminous waves perfectly catching the studio spotlights as he brought a musical titan to life on the silver screen. Beyond the musical comparisons, the sheer health and enviable density of the actor's hair ignited a wave of lighthearted envy and intense curiosity among fans who are paying close attention to their own grooming journeys. In an era where maintaining a pristine hairline is a frequent topic of discussion, his exceptionally lush and full presentation stood out as a beacon of ultimate hair goals, driving some commentators to hilarious extremes of appreciation. One enthusiastic fan lightheartedly confessed that they were about to track down and book an appointment with the actor's personal doctor immediately, just in case they might personally require a comprehensive transplant procedure in 5 years. The user jokingly added that this glorious crown of hair looked exactly like someone who confidently declared that they wanted to drive a classic convertible car with the top completely down, letting their magnificent locks blow freely in the summer breeze without a single care in the world. Others approached the transfer change with a sense of pure, wholesome affection, expressing an overwhelming urge to playfully tousle the dense, wavy layers or perhaps give the beloved actor a gentle, friendly boop right on the nose. The playful energy of these remarks highlighted the unique bond of warmth and approachability that this particular star has cultivated with his audience over the decades. A bond that allows a simple change in appearance to feel like a shared joke among close friends. At the exact same time, the vast community of comic book enthusiasts and superhero films could not resist filtering this dramatic new aesthetic through the lens of his most famous cinematic role. The idea of a clean-cut, youthful crime fighter was suddenly replaced by an entirely different, incredibly cinematic concept that captured the imaginations of alternative universe storytellers online. A passionate fan expressed a sudden, intense desire to see a completely reimagined, long-haired version of the iconic Spider-Man, specifically one who lives in the gritty atmosphere of the 1970s and spends his time riding vintage motorcycles through the misty streets of New York City. This creative reimagining perfectly illustrated how a single physical transformation can breathe entirely new life into a classic character's legacy, inspiring fans to dream up bold, stylized narratives that merge retro aesthetics with modern cinematic storytelling. The temporal displacement of his new look became a recurring joke, with another amused commentator suggesting that somebody should urgently contact the year 1985 to inform them that they are missing a prominent, spectacularly coiffed Hollywood actor. The consensus was clear across every corner of the digital world. The actor looked like an absolute rock star straight out of a classic decade, prompting fans to jokingly defend their favorite artist by telling the internet to leave their wonderfully woke man entirely alone while simultaneously celebrating his newfound visual grandeur. The humor even ventured into the realm of classic musical theater and science fiction, as one incredibly creative user compared the relentless, magnificent growth of his hair to the famous narrative of Little Shop of Horrors. The comment joked that his hairline was expanding so rapidly and with such incredible density that it was becoming entirely sentient, growing larger by the minute, and becoming fiercely hungry for the spotlight. This wave of viral reactions transformed what could have been a routine public appearance into an unforgettable cultural moment, proving that in the modern age, a truly epic hairstyle possesses the unique power to unite millions of people in a shared experience of laughter, nostalgia, and collective fascination. This massive wave of digital adoration and playful commentary highlights a much larger, more profound truth about the relationship between modern audiences and the cultural figures they hold dear. In an industry where trends fade in the blink of an eye and public attention is notoriously fractured, the ability of a single physical transformation to capture the collective imagination of millions is an extraordinary testament to the actor's enduring relevance. It proves that his connection with the public extends far beyond the specific characters he portrays on screen, reaching into a realm of genuine, widespread affection for his authentic personal journey. When people look at this vibrant, retro-inspired style, they are not just reacting to a brilliant aesthetic choice, they are celebrating the natural evolution of an artist who has grown up alongside his audience. This moment serves as a fascinating reminder of how deeply embedded his career has become in the modern cultural landscape, bridging the gap between nostalgic cinematic traditions and the hyper-connected world of modern digital media. To truly understand why this visual milestone matters so much to the global community, one must look closely at the remarkable professional and personal journey of the man behind the magnificent waves. Over the course of his extensive career, he has consistently demonstrated an unwavering commitment to his craft, purposefully choosing complex, emotionally demanding roles that challenge both himself and his audience. From his early days navigating the high-stakes world of prestigious theater productions to his groundbreaking work in independent cinema, he has never been content to simply coast on his natural charisma or replicate past successes. This artistic integrity has earned him the deep respect of his peers, critics, and audiences alike, establishing him as one of the most versatile and dedicated performers of his generation. His artistic path has always been defined by a rare willingness to embrace vulnerability, a quality that shines through every character he brings to life and makes his off-screen persona equally compelling to watch. This unique combination of profound professional depth and effortless personal humility is precisely why a casual summer appearance can spark such a massive global conversation. The public's enthusiastic response to his new look is a direct reflection of the immense goodwill he has accumulated over a decade and a half of exceptional work, proving that a beloved artist's personal growth is always a matter of shared joy. Furthermore, this stylistic departure highlights an intriguing shift in the broader cultural landscape, where the distinct aesthetics of the 1970s and 80s are experiencing a massive, highly influential resurgence among younger generations. By embodying this classic, carefree vintage elegance, the actor has accidentally become a primary catalyst for a wider conversation about modern style, masculinity, and the timeless appeal of retro grooming. The sudden, widespread urge among fans to listen to classic yacht rock or revisit the iconic musical eras of the past demonstrates the immense power of celebrity influence when it is anchored by genuine charm and natural style. It shows that in a fast-paced, highly digitized world, there remains a deep collective yearning for the relaxed, romanticized aesthetics of bygone decades, where style felt effortless and full of character. This viral phenomenon has successfully transformed a simple, natural physical change into a beautiful celebration of timeless pop culture history, bridging generational divides through shared humor and nostalgia. As we look ahead to his highly anticipated upcoming film projects, including his magical journey into beloved fantasy literature, this bold new look adds an extra layer of excitement and intrigue to his artistic trajectory. It leaves the global audience wondering how this newfound aesthetic maturity might influence his future characters, promising a new era of even more complex, commanding, and visually striking performances on the silver screen. Ultimately, this delightful summer chapter reminds us of the unique joy that comes from watching a cherished artist step confidently into a new phase of life and style, bringing millions of admirers along for the ride. What began as a simple afternoon appearance at a prestigious tennis tournament has blossomed into a beautiful, unforgettable celebration of personality, pop culture, and the enduring bond between an actor and his fans. Whether you prefer the classic short-haired look of his early career or are completely captivated by this magnificent, vintage-inspired transformation, there is no denying that he continues to be an absolute dream for the public imagination. As the online discussion continues to thrive and inspire countless new memes, creative fan art, and light-hearted style debates around the world, we are left with one final, fascinating question to consider. What do you personally think of this dramatic new style choice? And are you suddenly in the mood to put on some classic 70s music and let your own hair blow in the summer breeze? Be sure to share your thoughts, your favorite jokes, and your creative theories in the comments section below, and let us know how you feel about this exciting new era for a truly iconic modern star.